welcome to this K-Café. This is an event which we have launched to have continuous spirit of collaboration and learning across the industries. So that we come together, we meet once in a quarter and share the challenges, the best practices which we have in our companies, and then probably take it ahead from there. And this is the fourth K-Café launch which we are doing it. And we have a couple of practitioners who have come here, who have shared their practices, their challenges, and shared across all of us. And today we have the leaders over here. Okay, we have our main speaker who is going to talk about the managing best practices, Sandeep. Okay. And he's from Afcons. And in fact, we met him last time when we had a K community meeting, which was which was hosted by Afcons 2 months back. Okay, so we met there a lot of people from Afcons, and that is how we thought that let us include them as well as a part of this journey. So he's going to be our main speaker, and he is Vice President for Information Process Group at Afcons, and he has 30 years of experience in global IT services, serving in various capacities. He has authored a few books like Software Testing, Practitioner Approach, and ERP to E2 RP, both which were published by PHI. He has been a visiting faculty to a lot of management institutes like SNGT, NMIMS, and Mumbai University. So welcome Sandeep to be part of this particular group. Followed by, we are going to have a panel discussion today, where we have prominent leaders, our Dr. Geeta, okay. And you would see, don't go by the age, okay? She's always there with us, always, okay? None of the, I think, K-Café or KM community has gone without her. So, energetic, okay, and she gives a lot of energy to all of us. Okay. Thank you so much to be part of this team, Geeta. And she has around 30 years of experience in the industry, and predominantly in the area of business analysis and consultancy in the financial systems. She has done her master's in statistics from ISI, Calcutta, and she has 15 years of tenure at CMC. Okay. So welcome, Dr. We have Dr. Prasad Ramanathan. He is our own iGATE's innovator. Okay. AVP in Research and Innovation Group, okay, and he heads the Technology Center of Excellence and is currently innovating technologies related to Internet of Things, machine learnings for actionable insights, and enhancing customer experience, augmented reality, and as well enterprise gamification. He has over 21 years of industry experience, and PhD from Osho State University, MS from University of Louisville, and bachelor degree from Mumbai University. He is one of our KM evangelists, from beginning, be it white paper competition, be it COP day, he is always with us. So welcome, Dr. Prasad. We have Leena Sagar. Leena has over 20 years of experience in software industry in various roles. She has been currently playing a lead role on continuous improvement journey with various different techniques. She is certified quality analyst and trained CMMI certified in ITL Foundation and Master Black Belt. She has mentored many quality professionals and trained over 1,000 professionals on various ranging skills in software engineering, project management, CMMI, statistical techniques, and many, many more. Okay. Leena has presented many thoughts papers in ISI, QAI, and one of their paper was selected in high maturity in QI, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So welcome, Leena. Yeah. We have Rajan. Rajan has 25 years of experience in manufacturing, marketing and project management in diverse industries such as plastic, chemical and telecom. His experience includes BPR and strategy development. He has managed large IT and non-IT projects and supervised implementation of greenfield projects in the initial years of his career. Greenfield projects, we call it as system integrators, right?
Well, it is a greenfield is like Mr. Sandeep will be able to explain more.
Okay.
It's like you start from the scratch, measure the measure the land area and measure the.
So he's currently working as Vice President Projects at RL Groups, Mumbai, and instrumental in establishing of project management office for managing special projects. He is guiding the implementation of balanced scorecard in PMI Mumbai chapter. Welcome, Rajan, to this program. So with this, I'll request each one of us to introduce. So we'll do a small round of introduction, okay, brief, so that we know each other very well. And then we'll begin with our today's speaker, with Sandeep. So we'll start.
My name is Deepak Gaikar. I've been with this Afcons Infrastructure since last 24 years. I've been in various fields like QA, QC projects, and then later on transfer to corporate office, wherein I've been handling this quality management system, and now very presently I have given task of knowledge management. Thank you.
Sandeep, Desai.
I am Ravi Mani. I am leading Audit Excellence at iGATE's. I am with iGATE for the last about 9+ years. Prior to that, I was with briefly with QAI and with Infosys for about 7 years, and Wipro in delivery role for about 9 years.
Hi, Sudhir Mishra. I am into Afcons Infrastructure Limited, working as process group manager in IT.
Hi everyone, I am Gautam. I am with iGATE for past 3 years. I have been doing a lot of coffees as part of K-Cafés. That's fine.
Good afternoon, my name is Mayank Dalal. I work at Capgemini India. I'm part of the quality assurance function, where I'm leading business development for process consulting and work on various other process consulting projects in service management, CMMI, etc. Along with that, I also look at deal support and client intimacy, that is pre-RFP stages for business development in the organization. And I've been with Capgemini for almost 11 years now and carry overall experience of 17 years. The earlier experience being with CGI India and SEEPS. Thank you so much.
I am Rajan. I think Kalya has said.
Hi, I'm Pali. I'm heading knowledge management in K-Café Company, which is a law firm.
Hi, Geeta Kumta. I'd like to add that apart from the 30 years experience in industry, I have 13 years experience in teaching at derived. And I still continue to teach.
Prasad.
Hello everyone, I am Shiksha. I am from Deloitte. I've been in Deloitte for 4 years now, and I am a part of knowledge management and a part of the sub-team that is called social media and communities.
Hi everybody, I'm Jay. I am from Deloitte as well, and 4 years as well in Deloitte. And part of the AM team and sub-team, I cater to the ARS group, ARS function within Deloitte for their knowledge management needs.
I'm Alka, and I am part of knowledge management team. I head KM in iGATE, and we are all part of Ravi's team. Okay, and in fact, I had been working with quality group. Okay, so SCBT experience for almost 12 years in iGATE, and recently joined the KM group. So maybe I am as new as probably not anybody I could see here. But learned a lot, okay, in this last 6 months, okay, and I think it's really interesting area, okay, which I have never thought about, like, it's really interesting, and learning I'm still learning.
And I'm hesitant to take up this role in the first place.
Good afternoon everyone, I am Vishal Thakre. I am working as knowledge management professional with Afcons. This is my first job and I have been associated with Afcons for last 2 years.
Hi, my name is Vasukumar. I drive the corporate communications team at Afcons Infrastructure Limited. Previously, I was chief sub-editor with Times of India. I'm not directly related to the IT process as such, but knowledge management is one area which is really interesting, and the science involved is something which is really thought-provoking, and it takes different angles, which is quite interesting.
Let me just add about Viva. He was editor for Times of India, basically for cricket. So he is a walking, talking dictionary on cricket or knowledge management of cricket.
Okay. So, combining a crorepati, I can have him actually as a case like as a
Yes.
There
is a queue, by the way. There is a queue.
Yeah, I am Gunjan Goyal. Basically, I am a civil engineer, so I worked at project sites. Presently, I am part of process group in Afcons. Okay. I have 22 years plus experience. So I am looking after at this moment SAP.
Hi everyone, my name is Abhinav. I am part of iGATE KM team since last 5 years. I have over 10 years of experience, and that is all in KM.
Hello everybody, my name is Indira and I've been with iGATE since past 3.5 years, and I've handled various KM initiatives as part of the KM team. Before that I was with the Tata Group company for 5 years.
Hello everyone, I am Samad from iGATE KM team. I've been with the iGATE KM team for 2.5 years now. Before this, I was with Wipro for 6 years, with same KM and the training team.
Hi everyone, my name is Puneet Kukreja. It's been 7 months since I've joined iGATE, and before this I was earlier working with Deloitte, where I was working for, I worked for 2.5 years. Thank you.
I'm Atul Mistry. I'm heading a consulting, it's independent consulting in the field of automation, for factory automation. So, because a lot of practices come from IT and they are adopted into different fields of, so that's why this is of interest to me, and see how this can be carried forward to the actual factory area where you can just leverage this, the best practices that you get from this sort of forums, and then adopt it there.
We've seen the reverse happening many
Yes.
times. So we have Bangalore team as well. Since we have put the presentation, we will not be able to see them. Naga, how many people are there from Bangalore? Jose?
Hi, Alka. There are 2 people.
Okay.
Taran is on his way.
Okay. So Taran and Jose are from Bangalore team, and I hand over to Sandeep to take us on the best practices session.
Good evening to all of you. First of all, let me say sorry to all of you that we had this particular session scheduled on 21st. But I had another engagement which was unscheduled with Chakurji Palanchi. On that note, before I start, you will see few people from Afcons, Mr. Sudhir Mishra and Gunjan. They are here from Process Group. I personally felt this particular presentation was made by them. I hardly added anything except for few points, and I thought that they will do more value add than me. They drive all the processes of Afcons, and whatever new processes we would like to implement, they are being routed through them. We have one gentleman, Mr. Vasukumar. I thought knowledge management is very close to his heart, and he writes in our internal magazine many times about knowledge management without consulting me. And I thought that it is the best time that he could look at, he could meet people, how they're using KM sessions. So we start with the session. What we have done here is we try to list out what all best practices we are adopting. These best practices what we have adopted is just not only based on the experience of Gammon, HCC or Indian companies. We thought to consult few companies internationally as well. Plus we have taken the experience from our seniors as well, and then we thought that we will implement them. Before I touch upon the best practices what we have deployed for last 5 years, I thought let's give overview about Afcons. Afcons is a part of Shapoorji Pallonji Group. Shapoorji Pallonji is about 15,000 crore turnover group company and has so many subsidiaries or group companies. So Afcons is one of them. Currently we are clocked at about 3,300 crores turnover for slated for 13-14. Yeah, we can. Okay. I thought to take up this slide because any process or any IT what we want to lay down has to have some kind of KPI, some kind of strategic goals based on which we started working from 2009 onwards. So if you look at the volume side, we would like to touch something like in 2015-16 $1 billion company, and somewhere around 18-19 we are planning to go to $2 billion. And in marine side, we want to be the top 5 marine global contractors. On the KPI side, the main 6 differentiators for the organizations is basically execution culture, where we drive our typical culture is finish the project before time. One of the excellent example is Jammu Dampur project, where we have completed the national highway of about 68 kilometers 6 months before the schedule. And that's the drive in the organization for past 50 years, and that's the culture which we work on. Innovation drive, which has started of late, somewhere in 2009. I'll cover some of the how we do the innovations as one of the best practices. Transparency, relationship management, transnational fabric. We were one of the early adopters of the international projects, and today we are, as we speak, I just got a message that we are also getting a project in one of the CIS countries. HR leadership is also one of the main differentiators. And they come handy in handling the customers or in operational excellence, which leads finally to the satisfaction of the customer. On employee side, we have laid down our own satisfaction model, wellness model, how leadership plays important role, team player and productivity. We measure the productivity, that is also I have covered in the best practice. Afcons execution part, I mean the most important thing is earlier it was mainly dominated in the marine sector, where one of the credentials was 4 LNG tanks built in India, out of which there were 6 or 7 LNG tanks, and 4 were done by Afcons. 30 plus overseas project. It's a low profile company, however done many things in the field of marine and now recent entry into oil and gas. Next slide. Okay, the main line of businesses are marine and industrial, where we build the ports, harbors, jetties, material handling systems. Okay, some of the projects are straight away EPC type, that is engineering, procurement and construction. Surface transport, highways, roads, bridges, flyovers, interchanges and mining related infrastructure also they build. Our latest entry is in the oil and gas. I don't want to speak about rail and metros, where most of the construction in Delhi of metros were being done by Afcons. Oil and gas, we got the second project in redeveloping the process platform, and earlier we have executed the ICPR as one of the process platform. In the LNG tanks, as I spoke, we have, I mean that's a business where our niche exists. Hydro and underground, where tunnel and underground works we built, and dams and barrages.
Sandeep, just one minute. People from Bangalore are not able to hear you, so
They are not able to hear me. Should I repeat?
No, I think you want to sit here if you're.
Yeah, it's because the microphone is.
The phone is.
It's on. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Bangalore?
Yes, much better.
Do you want me to repeat or that's fine for you?
No, that's okay. You can continue from here.
All right. Okay. Organization has a transnational presence. Mainly we have excluded West from the geography, and recent entry CIS is also included, which I have not just updated my presentation. Okay, let me start with the topic of process implementation. Let's look at the challenges of construction industry. The main issue, the first issue what we found is the estimation. Now, considering the competition involved, these days if you look at the projects which are getting executed across the country, you have very thin margins, and competing with every partner is a real challenge. So project estimation has to be accurate, and it has to be accurate to the tune of you also need to make some kind of decent profits. So how do we do that? Risk management, I'm not talking about the countries, I'm not talking about the risk relating to the countries or anything, because these risks we eliminate at the time of going to that particular country. We are talking about the risk of we don't get the land in time many a times. We have seen one of the project in Calcutta where we started the project, we deployed the machinery, and we later on realized that there is no, further land is given. It was a very prestigious project for us, like under the sea, first railway, metro rail was being built, and that particular project is completely in fault. So land acquisition was a main risk, what we thought. Managing the resources and optimizing the wastages is also very key to the project, and again a risk factor where you need a real art of project management. Like this particular industry is a capital intensive industry. I have seen that we have deployed more than 7 tunnel boring machines, where each one of them is costing nearly 20 to 25 crores. And imagine that a particular tunnel boring machine is not giving effective utilization, what happens? Or if it is lying idle. So managing the resources, typically in the equipment side, is a key. Control over the project cost against budget, which is standard for every project, be it IT project or be it construction project. And on top of this, you need to be compliant with the HSE standards. We thought to pen down some of the high-level processes of construction industry. So the top one, which are shown as corporate strategy planning processes, corporate governance and risk management, and business development and marketing. The next one, which starts with the procuring the job, design and engineering, executing the projects, and of course you have to maintain the client relationship as you do the project execution. Now, these are being supported by finance, accounts, taxation, human capital management, IT, CP, construction plant equipment, safety, quality assurance, and instead of procurement, I have written a new word called the sourcing, and of course the administration. Legal and contracts has a major role to play to keep track of what is out of scope done, and then the rest of the time you start putting the claims. So that's the high-level processes of construction. Please ask me question. I have just written it, thinking that I can elaborate on this if there are any questions. Process implementation, to our experience, wherever we have worked, be in India or outside India, I personally felt that construction processes are not business-centric. What does that mean? whenever we work for the banks, you will find ATM is there. If there are no computers, you can't simply go ahead with any of the processes. While in case of construction industry, the processes are not business centric. Even if your SAP doesn't work, udhar concreting chalta rahega. That doesn't matter to anybody. So your processes are, regardless whether SAP is there, Oracle is there, nothing. I mean, I want to do my work. Piling, floor chadana, no, that doesn't matter. So that's the biggest challenge. How do I streamline the process? Okay, even though they are not business centric. Standardization of the process. Here we have seen that if it is a joint venture company, if it is a company with, I mean, if you have any SPV, we find that many a times process standardization is a big challenge across the sites or for different legal entities as well. Or typically, if you are working in international environment, you have an organization which is working in international, then yes, you have again a process standardization. Qualified manpower. We struggle to get the best of the manpower to maintain the processes, which is true. I mean, most of the projects are in the remote places. Okay, if you are able to get the project in urban areas, then there is no issue. But if you are getting a project in Jammu Kashmir, that too very remotely, you will find that people are reluctant to go there. So getting a good person, getting good people is also an issue. Low motivation. Construction sites, most of the time we have seen that people are not motivated. The reason is they are cut off from the places. Okay, we are executing the project for ArcelorMittal at Liberia. I mean, imagine the country itself is so remote, and doing the project is not a joke. So we have seen that people over there are extremely, I mean, there is low motivation except for getting a better salary. Remote location, this particular challenge is from the IT infrastructure point of view, communication point of view. I mean, difficult to get a proper communication. Resistance to change. We have seen that many people in the typically materials or in planning side, you find the people have spent about 20 plus years of experience there, and they just don't change. If you ask them to give up or write a particular process in a different way, they just don't agree. They say, "हम ऐसे ही कर रहे थे. Who are you to tell us?"
So I don't see any difference between construction industry and IT.
You're absolutely right. I was about to tell you, construction industry, the only two variables are added: material and equipment. Other than that, and of course, you have white collar people in IT. While here you have blue collared or
that's what I'm saying.
That's a problem with IT or with construction?
With IT. That's exactly what I'm saying.
IT. So it is something like this: I am born intelligent, and education made me crazy.
I have seen similarity. You know, when you want to mobilize the project, the first thing is, अरे वो foreman किधर मिलेगा? Like in IT industry we do, वो SAP का FICO consultant किधर से तो उठा लेते हैं, you know. So I see a lot of similarity when we get a new project. Now we got a project in Kazakhstan. We were just thinking, कौन काम करेगा? Which project manager is better than Kazakhstan? While I was doing a project in Lebanon for Oracle, you know, I was just thinking, oh, उधर कौन जाएगा? And that time the civil war was going on. So who should speak Arabic, who should be talking, you know, polished language at the same time, because Lebanon is much polished place than other Middle East countries, but yet you should know Arabic. So similar concept is there in IT construction industry as well. So I think I should stop the presentation.
No, we can relate to this much better as well.
Okay. So what did we do? I mean, we knew these hurdles, we knew these challenges, and doing this was really difficult. So we thought, let's not do this implementation in a conventional way. I mean, typically for Afcons, doing the process implementation. So IBM was the partner, and the first thing what we told IBM is, fine, tomorrow if we go सब team लेके आओ, but then what we want is we need a process guys. We need process guys, two process guys, ideally from IIM Ahmedabad, who is having infrastructure background, or industrial engineers, who can start writing what is our KPI, what are our KPIs, and we should drive our entire implementation around KPIs. And if you don't write those KPIs, it is of no use to write those processes. So we thought, let's identify our KPIs. So we spent about 2 months in understanding what is that we need to get onto. So first KPI, I mean, there is no order which is important or anything, but let me deal with project progress. In construction industry, the cash blocked in WIP or asset, this is one of the again difference between IT and construction industry. IT advanced में involved है जाता है. You know, whether you like SAP product or not, you have to pay for it. So while here your cash is blocked mainly in work in progress or mainly in assets what you deploy. You know, client may give you advance, but that's not adequate. Consistent attention to cash flow, extremely important. I mean, if you look at some of our projects, yeah, they're bleeding, and I mean, we bring this to the notice of PM and managing director, saying that look, here you are having a lot of issues, but project has to go on, customer has to be satisfied. Robust budgeting exercise and alert variances. The most important thing in construction industry I have seen is if you do not have budgeting exercise, which has to be robust, and it has to be as accurate as possible with respect to the actuals, and this needs revision every quarter. That means you do the budgeting for the annual and then revisit your annual budget every quarterly. Are you matching? And then try to come up with the new budget for the next quarter. Project health, turnover, receivables, payables. The most important is turnover, receivables and payables to look at your predicted cash flow. Project profitability, I have written financials as well as MIS. We do two types of project profitability. One is on the financial side and another is on the MIS side. And both are important to us. However, MIS side, we don't wait for closure of the month, and we would like to have them as early as possible to predict the behavior of the project. Project progress and the constraints. I have written some of the constraints later on. What do we mean by constraints and how we have tackled it. So project progress constraints. So where are the constraints in the project? Is design getting hampered? Is design and methodology creating the issue for you? So where is the issue? And finally, all these things should help you to procure the future jobs. Make use of operational data. And this is very important. Whatever norms we are generating out of the project, you know, say fuel consumption for particular equipment or in a particular geography, it should be important for getting it into the procuring the jobs. So we continuously interact with the tendering to give them the as close as operations data. The next important KPI was customer relationship, update on project progress. So whenever we meet customer, we need to brief them recording of the progress and update on the constraints. Some of the customers like oil and gas, they would like to get onto our system and look at the progress. Like, you know, Primavera, they say give us the access of Primavera and we want to look at where are we. So, I mean, you know how to take care of that. I mean, sometimes you prepare 2 project plans. So update on resource fulfillment. So customer also would like to know, have you fulfilled the resources? I mean, he would like to know that as the particular skill is being deployed, and discuss the gap and the schedule. And the most important from our side is to update on the out of scope work. Alert him continuously that this is what you have not told us and we have done. I mean, sorry, it was not there in the contract and we have done. So that's the out of scope. And present it to them periodically what is out of scope work done, and later on give them a shock saying that how much it is going to cost.
So scope creep is very common.
It's very common. But in case of IT, we started talking, ये contract में नहीं है, ये scope creep है. Here you don't have that flexibility. Here, if customer says वो road को alignment करना है, you have to do it because that's the need of the hour. If you don't do it, you are in trouble. But you just record it for his future. This thing.
Yeah, again, I'm finding a lot of similarities. Absolutely, because here in IT, they say they don't tell, they don't put it in the contract, and they tell you that you should have understood the rest. No? See, it's assumed the rest. No, it's there as part. It's all implicit requirements, right?
That's why the domain part comes in. When you're coming out and implementing a particular project in that particular domain, we presume you have understood what
exactly.
While in case of construction industry, what happens is when you estimate and when you get the project, for example, Jammu, and we had to do cutting of mountains at so many places, which was not there in the scope, but we had to do because it was required. Otherwise, you just can't go further. So this is the scope creep which finally we had to go to NHI and tell them that look, this is the out of scope work. Finally, let's see whether they like it. Monitor and improve the productivity, manpower, material and equipment. Most important, where you need to continuously monitor their productivity. And one more thing is, more than your employees, we sublet the work to the subcontractor. We would like to monitor their productivity as well. On this basis, we thought first, what does all this thing mean to IT footprint? So this means physical progress is linked with the financials. So progress, whatever is done, is linked with the finance. Finally, it boils down to what is the work you have done in terms of monetary gain. You need to have proper governance, ensure to have controls at every stage and the compliance. You need to have accountability. Customer is king and would like to see the progress and evaluate the constraints. So it has to be customer centric also at times. Performance monitoring, and here it is just not project performance. I would like to look at the productivity as well. And the last but not the least is the motivation factor. Where is the motivation comes in from here? All these things we summarized into one slide. What we need is a real-time project tracker. What you need, a process of management accounting which deals with the budget and further extrapolate the cost to complete. It has to be customer focused, productivity monitoring. You need some kind of motivational system in the organization to motivate people who are sitting at the remote locations. Let's look at how we have done. 8 to tendering. There should not be any constraint on the locations. Whatever system we put or whatever processes we put. And all these things put together, we must have a standardization across the project sites, across the company, across all the global entities to give the single version of truth. We started first function called as bidding or estimation, and we thought we'll draw the metrics where the measures are listed down. Lead to win conversion ratio. You have a large pipeline. Finally, what happened to the pipeline? Where are they gone? And here what we do is, based on the pipeline, we create the funnel based on the probability theory. You come up with the funnel, and that funnel finally gets down to where are the customers. Final your output of lead to win conversion ratio is required to be located. Monitor progress of one job with respect to actuals. in Afcons, we have a unique case of tendering is a part of the operations itself. That means we have a strategic business units. These strategic business units are responsible for tendering as well as execution. So as a business unit head, I would like to know the projects which I won, how are the operations? And the last is analysis of lost jobs, record the reasoning, subjectivity analysis, why we lost. And sometimes we do the analysis with the competition also. The finance metrics, where we would like to know return on capital employed, ROS. This is required for, okay, it's a mistake, head of plant and equipment as well as head of finance. Whatever you have deployed, typically from equipment side, are you getting the sufficient returns? So what do they want? They would like to have dashboard kind of concept where what is the turnover versus equipment ratio. Export incentives, bank guarantees, retention amount. This is heart of any construction industry, where I take so many bank guarantees from the subcontractors and we give bank guarantees to the customer. So we would like to monitor them. Whenever we pay bill to the subcontractor, we retain their amount. When we submit the invoice to the customer retains their amount. This is not there in IT. And export incentives, very important. Like Chennai Metro, we are building up about 2,600 crores worth of project. And we have X amount of export incentives. We must monitor what is that export incentive we have. Actual operating plan versus actual variance. That is nothing but budget versus your actual. Few financial statements which are very crucial, P&L, cash flow and balance sheet. And important ratios. There are about 6-7 ratios which we compare every quarter. And interestingly, we compare these ratios with the competitors as well. That is, the people who are in the same business, we try to see how they are in these ratios. Project execution metrics, where we would like to know the productivity of equipment, material and the subcontractor. And this is in the form of dashboard they would like to know. That is, what is that equipment has produced and how many hours it has clocked in, plus what is the cost it had incurred. Earned value analysis and the cost performance index, most important. Project, it is at the project manager level as well as MIS head level would like to know. Activity based costing, that is for every construction activity, what is the cost we have incurred. This is very important for the tendering. And the wastage norm, I think Mr. Deepak can elaborate more because he was one person who was after my life. You would like a wastage dashboard. Deepak, can you talk? Meanwhile, I'll drink water.
This, we actually use a lot of construction materials like cement, reinforcement, which are very valuable thing and it's very important for the projects. So those wastages have to be monitored very closely. So those all things are actually there in SAP. We get the reports from the SAP and those are monitored against the set norm, means the industrial benchmark and the norm set by the company. In that if they are exceeding then the set limits, then the root cause analysis, the discussions are carried out to identify what is the cause exactly. Then the actions are taken to control those wastages.
We have every month what is called the management review meeting, where wastage is one point where we discuss for about half an hour to 45 minutes for every project. Wherever he is a person who is monitoring and wherever he finds that a particular site has not done as per his norms, that gets reflected and there where root cause analysis is being done, where every project manager has to give the reason why this was a wastage.
So wastage are basically like it would be the iron which was brought extra.
Steel. Let us take steel.
It was bought extra and then Or that is the vestige or?
No, it's not vestige, it's not like that. See, we have actually procured the reinforcement, that is steel. Okay, we know this much has to be used in that particular, say, column. So we have used certain quantity, and apart from that, certain quantity is wasted. Means what we have to do actually, we know we have to use some, say, 10-meter bar, but the bar we get of 12-meter length. And the cutting is taking place at 10th meter. 2 meter is wasted.
And then they would like to know why it is wasted. Now we use all state-of-the-art tools, like from AutoCAD there is a bar building schedule, it comes, it goes to SAP. But in spite of that, the reality is there is a wastage, but it is under control now. That perhaps parameter, I don't know what is your parameter in our discussion.
I had a question here. These wastages which you are mentioning, do you also account them in line with the 7 wastages as mentioned by Lean methodology? So are these wastages prescribed and compared in line with what Lean specifies?
On the Lean construction, we are just tied up with, there is a school for Lean, ILF something, okay, Institute of Lean Construction. Now one of our director is also on the board of Lean Construction School. Now we have taken the help of IIT Chennai, and they are working with us for last 1.5 years on 3 major projects to introduce the Lean methodology. Now the wastage what we have optimized as compared to 11, 12, 13, 14 and 13, 14 is much under control. Okay. Is a basically offshoot of the Lean construction what we have seen. Typically we have seen in, if it is a marine project, which is like a factory project, you are constructing a jetty, you have a sea, I mean it's like within 4 walls, okay, you will find wastages are under control. But if you look at Chennai Metro, the huge project, I mean you will find so many stations, so many kilometers around. I mean controlling wastage over there is a challenge. So we thought we'll put one Chennai Metro, Dahej and Jammu Dampur, which is a 68-kilometer road. And we found good results at Dahej and at Jammu Dampur road project. Where at Chennai Metro, yes, it is yet to come under control. But we adopted the Lean principles, which I forgot to mention, but I thought it is too early to get the results.
Are you saying the construction site which are open area where you have a less control, or a closed area or a defined area, the control is
I mean, if you look at road or metro type of projects,
yeah.
I mean, I would like to be upfront. Yes, there is an issue. But if you look at marine projects,
and all those stuff,
there is an issue. That is where we thought to take the help of IIT Chennai.
That's a good distinction.
Yeah.
Clear when the area is actually under your control. What
That's
happens?
right,
You know how many rods are there left.
Correct,
And
It's like a factory.
Boundary, yeah.
It's like you have 4 walls there.
Correct.
You need a project tracker where mobile-based alerts required. Point of capture is mobile. This is nothing but this is yet to be implemented. Some of them are implemented. This is yet to be implemented, and this is what one of the major we thought we should have. We would like to have a system wherein site engineer, instead of writing, he himself will write that this particular progress is done, not done. And if it is not done, because of what? So that he is accountable for his own progress, rather than section in charge or something. This is valid for projects which are of longer duration and a bigger stretch, like metro or road. This is where now we want to reach. Rajan, I could see some smile on your face.
Well, I was just trying to simulate the thinking of project reporting. We talk about percentage completion and times. Then we talk about when you put a number, we always have a problem. Then we say that is it really 60%? Then we say that 60% is not 60%. It is probably 30%. So when you look at it, probably I thought you would have more control here, because you can actually say that I have put probably 3 feet or 3 meters of concrete, or the piling is done to this level. So there is a definitive answer.
There is a definitive.
What happens is here yes and no, yes or no is okay. but my system doesn't understand in between. So I get in between most of the times.
I think here, in your case, it's more tangible.
Yeah, tangible, that's right.
You can see IT projects are abstract. I agree with you. IT projects are abstract.
Distributed.
Yeah,
That's why they call it software. As soft as.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
This mobility we have implemented for calculating our cycle time, to capture the cycle time.
That's right.
About key activities. For example, piling we are doing in Delhi project.
Yeah.
So they want to capture that cycle time of each pile.
Right.
So there are different stages of that pile.
No,
and
the
then they
construction
want to
projects
capture.
are, I have always admired, they are very definitive. Although when you talked about scope creep, it was really, it was, it again talked about our software IT projects where the scope creep is like rampant, if I can use a word. But yes, we also appreciate, I want to give an example. I live in Thane. There is a bridge being constructed near Majiwada, and we were just wondering how we will go to, once this bridge comes, how we will drive to the other side. And it so happened that the contractor all of a sudden had constructed a small overbridge, and I am made to think that it was not at all part of the scope. I am made to think probably if I can interview Jay Kumar, I would do that. But it was a fantastic thing. But without that road, today the people from Goduvandar Road, they would not be able to return home.
Absolutely.
So it is so, it is sometimes, it comes on out of blue. Like, you can't.
This happens regularly with us, like in Bahrain project. Where is Gunjan? We constructed, we were asked to do that.
Yeah.
When we were constructing a flyover, there was a huge traffic congestion. The way in which these days we are seeing at Bandra. And we were asked to give quick solution in such a way that traffic congestion can be eliminated. Imagine places like Bahrain, where population is less, and we're talking congestion. And we had to do that. In about 2 weeks' time, we just got rid of entire traffic. In fact, from the president of Bahrain, he acknowledged entire what we have done. So, in construction projects, you have no way. You just can't refuse to plan.
So when he mentioned about the time, the pile-up, etc.
Yeah.
See that how much time you take for that pile-up. If you align it to what we do in the IT industry in terms of timesheet, the person who is giving how much time I spend on that is himself. Nobody else knows how much it is. Whereas in the construction, I can actually see if I want to go and measure. That is, I think, a major problem that we have in the estimation. And that data we use in estimation.
Correct.
In IT, in fact, the objective of putting those timesheets is to find out the productivity. .NET का code दो दिन में लिखा है कि नहीं लिखा है. But we don't do that.
If the coder remembers how much time he has taken. Because he does the time sheet at the end of the week, right?
End of the week.
So it's only that the manager can challenge, but I've seen you 16 hours, how you're putting it.
Yes.
One good discipline which we have implemented here, which I don't know whether I have put in here. We had a brainstorming session with our head of CP. I said, boss, equipment log sheet is must. That is how many hours it has worked, how many hours it was idle, blah blah. I said, suppose उसने नहीं लिखा, 15 दिन नहीं लिखा, करेगा क्या? We asked them straight. He came up with a brilliant idea. He said, if the guy doesn't write timesheet for a particular equipment beyond 7 days, don't issue the fuel.
Yeah, I was about to leave.
Don't issue the fuel. Don't issue the spares. Then of course we had brilliant guys. Okay, दूसरा equipment से fuel निकाल. So, but we said no. If it does that, then report will reflect that this, and you won't believe. Today the discipline, I vouch for it, is the best discipline. Every week you get the equipment utilization. every week. And I mean, this I was relating with our IT companies, you know. If you don't put it, what happens? You know.
In fact, we were discussing, me and Liz, earlier that, you know, what can we do? See, in our case, what is a resources, you know, allocation of the people on the project, right? So, within first 10 days, if they don't do certain processes which have been asked for, we will not allocate them the remaining 50% of the resources. So it could be your licenses, it could be your resources or whatever. But difficult to implement.
So project tracker is point of capture is mobile. We felt that typically in road and metro type of projects where the stretch is long, we would like to implement mobile, which this initiative we have just started. That is the conversation we had with few hours back, you know, to take off that project. And real-time integration with P6. P6 is Primavera. So that means generally in construction industry, let me be upfront, we prepare the project plan is only the front-ending project plan for the customer, either activity. So we thought, no, now it has to be accurate and all your progress should be recorded only on Primavera activity. So we have taken one pilot project at Jammu, saying that we will implement here and we will showcase it to everybody. So this particular kickoff will happen somewhere on 7th of April. Engineering and design status of every project in various design tracks. This is extremely important. I mean, being EPC player where engineering procurement, engineering is most important. Keeping track of design status, I mean, many times your design gets delayed by from the consultant itself, or you will find that, you know, designs are wrong sometimes and you need to improve upon it. So what has happened to the designs? You know, so that status we need to keep track. Innovations per project. About 2.5 years, 3 years back, although Afcons was doing all the time innovations, we were not recording them as innovations. We used to call in construction terminology a word called as a jugaad. Jugaad. So we said jugaad is innovation, bhaiya. Let's document them and use the concept from IT, which is called as the reusability of the component. And we have put in this on the innovation portal. And this innovation portal, whoever goes and clicks, we come to know that he has used it. And we have what is called the quarterly review meeting with all the project managers. So if you don't see that slide, we question him. And if he puts in, every project manager is supposed to show what innovations he has done. If he has not done and if he has clicked it, then we ask him, was there any relevance? And then we record it, how many times he has used that particular innovation. Performance failure due to methodology design. So as a part of KM, we have started this exercise about 6 months back. On the lessons learned, a very, very important exercise where we come to know where planning has failed, where design has failed. And objectively you can tell that planning your performances was not up to the mark. And the same thing we give it to the next project if the project is of similar nature.
Yeah, and I totally relate to that. One of the quotes that I had heard, we always talk about best practices, but the most lessons or the most things that we should capture is things where things went wrong.
That's right.
So that is something that we don't term it. I mean, there's a term called best practices, and we register that, we document that. But hardly we have any term for worst practices and documenting that.
Those are called as learning and experiences.
Exactly, but we don't term it in a negative way. You know, just to make sure that we don't document it in a negative way. Those are the most useful things.
When we present it to MD for a project, we say areas for improvement.
Exactly.
So, but heart to heart, he is aware, we are aware, please will go for that. You know, so, but this is one thing which has opened up everybody's eyes. And we executed one project for Dahej which was a jetty. The similar jetty, we got it in Kuwait about 4 months back. And I just spoke to the project manager a few days back and said, Ki bhaiya, you are in the design stage. First of all, look at what all things went wrong in Dahej. It is the same project, and don't repeat the mistake. So, they are referring this particular document, which has become very handy to them.
Basically, when we conduct this lessons learned session at project, we ask the group what you have learned instead of what they have failed to do. That makes the difference. If you ask in that tone, then they really open up and then.
Rudolph is our consultant, and Rudolph conducts lessons learned.
So I have a question here. How do you ensure a real-time sharing and learning? Like let's say you have a project going in Jammu and Kashmir, right? And you have a parallel project going in Kazakhstan. So both have similar kind of terrain, they might have similar kind of problems. So if an innovative solution has been generated in Jammu and Kashmir, how can you ensure that is transferred directly and immediately to the team which is working in Kazakhstan?
I mean, to be very upfront with you, if an innovation or anything is done, we first it comes to head office, our people weight it, saying that it is really an innovation, and then we put it. It doesn't happen real time. Second thing, the guy who is working at the site, he doesn't have access from site to the KM. We have not reached, otherwise he will ask for iPad and all kinds of nonsense thing, and then he will start looking at something else instead of working there. So we filtered it at that point. We said, hold on, we are yet to reach at that particular concept. So it is KM is being used at, as soon as you get the project, kick off, look at what lessons you have learned, look at particular activity, how it is being executed, methodology design. Plus, we are having certain videos, last time I was mentioning, which is in any language. Like our foreman, he would like to speak only in Marathi or Hindi. He will speak in Marathi or Hindi. It comes footprinted, it is translated in English. So people can look at his methodology. So it is typically for office, it is typically for planning and for technical guys. The execution guys, we are yet to work out a methodology how to do it. Because that's not simple. That's something very difficult.
Here also we have actually QRM every quarterly, wherein all the project managers from all the projects that come there, and they actually, if any innovation has happened at one particular project, so he actually present that, what innovations was there at his project. So that is shared. But that happens every quarter.
Control and project correspondence. We have learned this particular process from our first project of oil and gas. And oil and gas, the most important thing is project correspondence has to be there electronically. And this was enforced by ONGC. And we thought, okay, so since we have learned from oil and gas SBU, we will replicate this for all the projects. And now this has become a de facto standard for everyone. So document management system is one of the must practice for all the projects. Materials metrics, we would like they are having geography specific purchases, spend analysis on the major and minor expenditure along expense path. That this is typically your spend analysis what we do. I mean, we don't use through SAP's Pareto analysis, but something like Pareto analysis, they take the results from SAP and they try to do it on Excel itself. Okay. Average procurement days, total time taken for purchase request approval. This is nothing but an entire cycle. Okay. Vendor rating is most important. Now, when I talk about vendor, it is just not the people who are supplying you the goods, but supplying the services as well. So, in case of subcontractor, that is the most important thing for us. Physical inventory and inventory held for greater than 20 days, 30 days, whatever is the planet. One thing which I have written here, stock reconciliation and the tracking. Right now, we are doing this exercise manually. That is, how many where all my structural steel is lying, what are my fabrication units, people go and count. I have seen one solution at L&T Hyderabad when they're constructing metro using a RFID, and we are trying to do the research on that where the same can be deployed, so that with RFID you have a better control where all these larger major construction material whether it can be useful. Rajan, no?
It's a good attempt, but I think, of course we have not done anything of that kind, but from what I have analyzed and studied a little bit on this, it is very complex. You are waiting for
trouble.
RFID to an extent it works very well in fashion retail industry where it is really useful. Again, when it comes to, I think one of the areas where our company has evaluated for jewelry, mind-boggling. It is not possible at all. So the fashion retail, yes. For others, no.
But fashion retail, then it will be very expensive also.
It is expensive, but it is being done because it is though it is more of a loss prevention act. Actually, it is not in terms of, see again, you are looking at two things. One is the material movement control.
Yes.
Right. The material movement control, if it is easily identifiable, which is in a packet,
right,
or in a parcel, then you are able to, or in a package, you are able to put that. The moment you open the box, supposing the moment you open the box, then you have got more units coming in. Then identifying each unit of that, it becomes a problem. So it has to be whatever item which is being used, which is being tracked with RFID, it has to be completely used. The moment it is open, there are loose material, then you lose the essence of RFID.
The other operational issue would be putting the RFID tag. So who's going to do, the supplier or he? Okay, so that is the biggest issue that you will have, because somebody has to put that RFID tag. So will your supplier do that? See, Walmart was able to do it because he was the big brother. Okay, he forced the suppliers to do it.
If we have to do it, it is difficult.
Yes. So operationally there is a big issue on RFID.
Yeah, I agree with Professor, because in the US, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, they listen what Walmart says.
Obviously.
They better listen, right? But whereas in our today's situation here, it is different. So probably we will have to.
No, I have a case study which is from L&T,
yeah.
and I've told somebody to look at more positively how we can use it, because I have a case in one of our project,
yeah,
where you have casted all the segments,
yeah,
and you have kept it, and parallel to these segments, for fitting these segments, another segments were getting casted, and they brought it, but they didn't know which segment to go to, which particular segment. So I was thinking RFID could be one of the solution, and then I said, let me look into whether L&T, what they have done, let me look at. Okay, material planning for construction. This is simple process algorithm of material requirement planning. Purchase performance indicators, which is very important on, monitor the performance of vendors or subcontractors based on delivery, quantity, quality, or unit cost. Equipment is OEEE. This is overall equipment effectivity required. That is, what is the productivity of the equipment, what is the fuel consumption, and entire maintenance history of the repair and cost incurred. That's very important for any equipment. When I'm talking about equipment, it is a large equipment. We identify large equipment is in the tune of something like more than 10 lakhs is what we want to do. We also would like to know MTTR and MTBF analysis of these equipments. Okay, mean time to repair and mean time to repair. HR metrics, we employee satisfaction index about 2.5 years back. BCG, we have invited BCG, the Boston Consulting Group, where they were retained by the Shakuji Palanji at a group level. So we invited them to conduct some kind of employee satisfaction index, and we found out that although our rating was good, but the main issue was somewhere on the learning management. It was conducted across the organization. So business expectation was how IT can contribute in the learning management. So we came up with the tool. First we made in-house tool for technical learning, e-learning. So which we developed it in .NET with SQL as the backend. And perhaps the first company to do in the technical area, that is somebody would like to build, let us take form work or shuttering, how you will do it. So entire lectures with the question answers, exam, we have a certification, and we do that in that e-learning module. Today e-learning module is the last module which we are preparing, fourth module which we are preparing is on the lean construction. And other 3 modules, I have a slide to show that there was a scarcity of particular specialized field called as a form work or shuttering material. And we could deploy them only based on this particular module. We do the complete exam. After that, we deploy them at a project site. Yearly call them to the head office, question answer session. After that, once we find is okay, then we certify him as okay, now you are certified clerk. And this is how IT has contributed. The second learning management was obviously knowledge management, which I still felt that we need to penetrate in a better way, like what you have asked me. Okay, I'm yet to find a solution how my site engineer can use it.
So is there a mechanism where you track the reuse components? Like you said that you had those
innovations.
Right, innovations. So the innovations that were shared, how many of them were actually used?
We do. We do. Only way I can do is track whether he has clicked it, he has read it.
But you don't get a feedback from the person.
We get the feedback. We ask them that first of all, informal this KM team does, but formally we ask in the quarterly review meeting in front of managing director and other seniors that you have clicked it. We have a feedback that you have used it. Why you have not presented? If he has presented, that means it is being used, and then the discussion happens. But we want to make sure that this drive will be there for another 1 year. After that, it has become a way of life.
When you talked of real time
it's not
information, like in Eureka Forbes, there are about 7,000 employees who are out of 9,000 who are field workers.
All are field
Now
workers.
you cannot, similar to yours, they cannot be